I need your help deciding if my apartment can legally be called an apartment, because I don't think it can be. So I live in a basement apartment, and like this is my living room, and you'll notice there's no windows anywhere, and there does technically have to be a window in the bedroom. So let me show you what that looks like. So this is the window. And I've been reading laws about basement apartments, and there's two things that I'm concerned with about this window. One, it's supposed to be 24 inches tall, and as you can see, there's no way it's 24 inches. It's probably like less than 20. And two, there has to be enough room outside of your apartment, basically for a firefighter to get to your window if they needed to. Now, if you look outside, you might be like, why is there only a slim thing of light? Let me show you. Now that I'm outside, is this my window? No, my window is underneath this deck, which you cannot get to. And like if I had to crawl out my window, I can't get through that. So I don't think it's legal.
Kay asked the public what they thought about her apartment. And everyone couldn't believe that she actually lived there.
So first of all, thank you to everyone who expressed concern over my apartment. I do appreciate the validation that my apartment is not legal. But let me show you some fun developments in my apartment. So long story short, there's mold growing in every room of my apartment. And I didn't realize how bad it was until like just now. So in my bathroom, this has been an issue since I moved in. And you'll notice like these black spots all over my apartment. And I clean my bathtub with bleach pretty often, but obviously it just grows back. And at first I was like, oh, maybe it's just mildew or whatever. But I recently got a mold test and I swabbed that mold and it's growing colonies. So mold in my bathroom, check. So now let's move out into my living space. So my apartment had been flooding for like 2 weeks and my landlord refused to fix it. And so some of this I think is just water damage, but you can see these black spots, definitely mold. And after like 1 week, white mold started to develop on the rug under my couch. It was right here, but I was bleaching my floor today and I noticed that the mold had started to take over my bookshelf. And I was like, oh, that's not good. Let me move my photo cards up to the top of my bookshelf. And what's that? There's mold growing on the ceiling. I don't even know why that's there. There's not water coming from my ceiling, but that's fun. So mold in my living space, check. And look, you can see my door is molding. So mold in my bedroom, check. And I've been trying to be nice to my landlord because this is my first time renting, so I don't want to like be a bitch. But I was like, hey, do you have any other places I can move into? Like this apartment is unlivable. Despite the whole fire hazard, like there's mold everywhere. And he was like, I have a house, but it's a lot in rent. And then didn't say anything. Didn't even ask why my apartment's unlivable. He's literally so unwilling to fix any of these issues. And I don't know what to do because I can't find anywhere to move into like tomorrow. So that's my life. A lot of people are saying, didn't you tour the apartment? Like you should have known. I actually didn't tour the apartment before I moved in at least. And yes, that's my fault, but I don't think people consider that not everyone has a lot of options. So I needed to move because I was going to school in this area and I had been looking for an apartment all summer. I couldn't find one within my price range. I couldn't find one where they would rent to first-time renters. Like there was a lot of issues. So when this place popped up, it was a week before classes started and I didn't have time to tour it. And I needed a place. I was desperate. So I applied, they got back to me, I went through the whole process and I got this apartment and I was beyond ecstatic. Is it a nice place? No, but I didn't think to look up all of the laws in the area. Sorry, sue me. I didn't think to look it up. I didn't think Zillow was going to be listing an illegal apartment. So no, I didn't tour it. And yes, that is my fault, but I don't think I'm crazy for being desperate. A lot of people are also asking, why are you staying? There's a couple of reasons. One, yes, this apartment sucks, but I'm only planning to live here, and here is Philly, by the way, for people who are asking, for 2 years while I'm in school. Because this window isn't even my biggest concern with this apartment. I could live with a fire hazard until I'm done with my lease. There are other issues that are causing me to have to move out. I don't think people realize how difficult moving is. Because for me personally, as a full-time student who is working 2 jobs and is always also supposed to be in the lab full-time, I don't physically have time to do anything. I get maybe 5 hours of sleep every night. I don't have time. And moving takes a lot of time, but not only does it take a lot of time, it takes a lot of money. But like, it's not just an easy option. Have I considered moving? Sure. But it was easier to stay and I was willing to take the easy route out. But now that's not an option anymore, so now I have to move. But please don't just come to renters telling them that they're stupid for staying or they're stupid for buying the apartment in the first place, because you don't understand their circumstances.
I actually can't believe that Kay hasn't ended up unwell from living in that apartment. Not just because of the one tiny teeny window, but the fact that there's no fresh air coming through and black mold growing everywhere. But we are so glad to hear that she is now looking into moving into another place. I once lived in a mouldy house and it really played havoc with the old asthma, so I'm certain staying in an apartment like that long term could potentially harm her health. Fun fact for you though, did you know that the Romans were actually the first people to ever build apartments? From the middle of the 1st century BC, the Roman Empire growth led to a huge increase in population, and as a result, they invented new material for building houses, concrete, based on lime and volcanic sand, which was used to build a new form of architectural structure. Their multi-storey buildings usually had stores on the ground floor and 2 or 3 floors for apartments above. Pretty cool, huh? So, do you think you would put up with this kind of situation, or would you be out of that apartment before you've even unpacked your boxes? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and as always, thank you so much for watching Happiest.